Mm.
What is up? It is me. It is I. I am the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. I am greatness personified. Myself. Yes, yes, Stoney, greatness. And I am here with the man of the hour, the myth, the legend, the activist, the author, conqueror, the educator, the entertainer, the philanthropist, the model, the man. So show some respect. Bend the knee. Because they come from all across the world to see. The man who wears the crown that hangs 2 inches from the ground. Almost fell out earlier. Yeah. While we were walking. He's your king. He's my king. He's king. Kevyn!
They fell asleep.
There they go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It makes me smile. If you ever need a reason to smile, he's your man. What's going on, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. Excuse me, I'm spitting and stuff. I'm sorry. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the GreatMines Show, where we are reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 8. And this episode 8 is one for the books. Now, take it how you'd like to take it, but me personally, I am sour. I've been sour for some weeks now, and they just continue to sour my taste for how things are going in this show. And we're down to the final 4. So, ish is gotten real. But let's break this episode down, because I'm in my feels again.
And, you know, I get it. I am of the, I'm of the, ilk that I am giving everyone involved a benefit of the doubt that there are other forces that we're not privy to and other things that we're not privy to, with just being observers and viewers and fans, that could explain, certain things behind the events. And so, we're hopeful that as the show wraps up, more will come out, but we'll cover all the little breadcrumbs and everything today once we get there. And yeah, what was that? What did it say?
Lazy Sunday here. And yes, I was Alexis 1, but Alexis went back on her word against Lala.
Oh my goodness. And we are going to get into it. You are correct, Rex. Thanks for tuning in. Oh gosh.
We're definitely going to get to that.
So, episode 8 of All Stars 8. It was episode was titled "You're a Winner, Baby."
Ooh.
All right, and basically,
knowing how these shows play out, ooh.
And basically, the main challenge of this week, it was a design challenge. The main challenge, or the maxi challenge of this week, were to use materials that are inspired by past All-Star winners, to create a look, for the runway.
I'm You're a Winner, Baby look.
Yeah, and an homage to past winners, by again using materials that were inspired by their style and everything. And so the winners that we had to choose from, as far as
real quick, as you guys know, last week Lala Ree won. Mm-hmm. She sent Kahana Montrese home, her best Judy, to save Alexis Michelle, who has a crush on her.
Right.
So
Lala Ree was the winner.
So because she won, she has the opportunity to assign the chest based off of the winners and who she thought they should get
to the other queens that are competing.
Thank you.
And So Lala had chose Shea Coulee box for herself. Then she chose Trinity the Tuck
Gave that
for
to Alexis.
Michelle. She chose Trixie Mattel for Jimbo, and gave
Monet
Monet
Exchange
Exchange
for
to
Candy Muse.
Candy Muse, and Kylie Sonique Love to Jessica Wilde. Jessica Wilde, yes. So the funny tidbit, Jessica and Kylie Sonique Love competed on All Stars 2, which is noted as the first season, the first modern season of the Drag Race that we know. Where that included the Snatch Game, so they were a part of the first Snatch Game, and Kylie Sonique Love won All Stars 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And everything. So that was a cool bit of symmetry, between them two. So that was the assigned, boxes, and then everyone had to create a look based off of the materials that was held within those chests. We had RuPaul was away doing stuff for the Emmys. So
we got a surprise visit. Yep. We had a surprise visit from Raven and Chanel.
Yep.
Who Chanel's coming back the second time this season because she was one of the lip sync assassins.
Right.
Who set Jimbo down.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. And Jimbo and Chanel had a moment in the workroom during their walkthrough, which was pretty cool and nice. But yeah, they came in and was basically doing the workroom walkthrough with the queens and giving them, feedback and everything. And just provided great TV. It was great to see them and their interactions with the queen. And then we came to the,
real quick, don't want to, I definitely want to highlight this comment. Chanel looked good.
Yeah.
She looked great, as you said. Yes, she did. She looked amazing.
Yep.
Raven looked good too, but no, Chanel really looked great.
Yes, and Chanel had that trademark wig on. That kind of, I can't explain it outside of a, glamorous, what was that lady? Phyllis Dillard witch wig look like, but I love Chanel though. We love Chanel and Raven.
Yes,
and Raven.
Definitely Raven.
Yeah.
So as we move on, do we want to talk any more about the one thing in the workroom when they were doing they talked about their pieces? Raven and Chanel was pretty adamant to hit home. Hey, you got a target on your head, Jimbo. Yeah, and they were loud, and we know, everyone knows, but it's Jimbo, you have a really huge target on your back. So watch yourself, because everybody in your camp ain't trustworthy. You know who I'm talking about. But anyway,
certain person without star quality.
Listen, I ain't even talking about that one. I'm talking about the one that can't seem to make up her mind on what she wants to, what legs she want to stand on.
All right, so let's get into it.
Because I'm bitter about it, and I'm not going to be happy until at least I get to express how I am bitter about freaking Alexis Michelle, who, spoiler alert, won this episode.
Yes. So yes,
she made competition.
She made a very beautiful gown based off of the materials that she got from the Trinity the Tuck box. Lala remade this orange, gown, asymmetrical one sleeve type of, dress. It was a good attempt with her Shea Coulee materials, but it didn't scream Shea Coulee to me. Any input on Lala Ree's, runway look?
Well, I want to go back to Alexis Michelle's look.
Okay.
Which was a pretty decent look.
It was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
She's a look queen. She definitely is. She's a beauty queen.
We were having a discussion during our review before the show, and I made the comment that honestly, out of all the seasons of Drag Race that she's competed on, between all the looks that she had her first season and all the looks that she's had thus far, that was by far the best look that she's had. To me, the most beautiful that she's looking. She looked gorgeous a lot, but this past look was absolutely show stopping for me. So to me, the win was well deserved. In comparison to other people.
That's the thing for me. Like, I would have to agree that she earned the win,
Mm-hmm.
but I would also have to agree that I wasn't happy with a lot of the looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, any of them really made me say, wow, this is an all-star game for real.
Yeah,
none of them gave me, the closest was Alexis Michelle.
Yeah, Lala Reese wasn't at all,
although this was very elevated for Lala Reed,
Yes.
It was still not high enough to be on the main stage of All Stars.
Right. Yeah, I would like, and her look from the supermarket ball earlier this season was a lot better.
Yeah.
Than this look was. Kudos to her for trying, because she
gave us hair, she gave us padding, she gave us a figure, but the construction wasn't it.
Right.
Now, throughout the show, you see in the workroom, she's come up with 3 different dresses or 3 different gowns. It's just, if that was the best you came up with, no, she's not. And you got to give her props for it, because for someone to not be a seamstress, she did pretty good. Mm-hmm. Again, much improvement, but it still wasn't it.
And needless to say, Lala Ree was one of the bottom queens this week, based off of the look. Now, from one of the bottom queens, let's go to one of the top queens.
Okay, which one?
Since we already discussed that Alexis Michelle is the winner, but let's talk about Jessica Wilde,
who had Kylie Sonique Love's chest. Now,
and she had some issues, during her, design phase and everything, work in the workroom, because Kylie Sonique is a body queen. Okay. Kylie Sonique shows off that gorgeous, gorgeous body of hers. And so a lot of her materials were see-through and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily conducive to Jessica Wilde's, drag. So she ended up, having to take a very, innovative approach to the, not innovative as far as construction, because she took a corset and then, was hot gluing, but the way that she was layering things and the way that she draped the fabric over, it made her garment just looked absolutely phenomenal, and it moved beautifully on the runway. For me, I liked it. I thought that, behind, like, she was definitely a strong second place behind
what's her name? Alexis Michelle.
Alexis Michelle, yeah.
Now, my opinion, I love Jessica Wilde. I do. Mm-hmm. This didn't do it for me. The hair wasn't it. It felt incomplete. Her outfit, I will give her credit. It was definitely a great way to give homage to Kylie Sonique Love while still representing yourself in terms of the design. Now, those patterns was a no for me.
I enjoyed it, especially with the silver draping. It kind of broke it up for me.
To me, it didn't seem cohesive. It didn't seem like a lot of thought went into that outfit. Like, I get it, I see it. It just wasn't it for me. I mean, would I have put her in the bottom? No. But it wasn't a top look for me. And I love Jessica.
I can agree to disagree. I would say that if there were other queens, you know what I mean, competing and everything else like that, would this have stood out to what, maybe Shea Coulee would have put together?
I don't know.
Or Trinity the Tuck.
I mean, that's the next thing you got to consider. If you were to put these queens in what they're presenting up against, take away any other season of Drag Race, just All Stars, they are not doing what needs to be done.
Right. I can see that point. Based off of
which is why it's a landslide win for Jimbo so far.
But based off of the looks that we got for this Maxi Challenge, Jessica Wilde was by far the second best look.
Well, let's talk about. Well, okay, let's talk about Jimbo.
Yeah,
because we could talk about Candy, but there was not much to talk about there,
and we'll get to her.
But Jimbo made this elaborate 2-piece. I want to call it a 2-piece look because it was the one bodysuit with the face covered, and then there was a little jacket with the
Mhm.
flared out like
The
bodysuit.
poofy sleeves, yeah, and everything,
And
yeah.
the sleeve was the best part about that whole outfit. It really was. It was not the worst look, but when I was watching Jimbo walk up and down the runway,
Mm-hmm.
beyond the fact that she was half blinded because she couldn't really see out of her piece, I'll give you that. The way it fit on her made me think of that episode where James Mansfield was eliminated for the fit. That was not a good fit for this look. Now, granted, I do believe if this was not a challenge and this was just an idea in Jimbo's head and she had time to master it, it would have blown us out of the water. But that's not what we're judging off of. We're judging off of what you did on the show. No. Is it a bottom look? Not necessarily. Is it a top look? Well, hell, we only got 4 girls, so somebody's got to be at the top, and it's not Candy. So
Yeah, no, and speaking of the other bottom queen, our one of our perennial bottom queens here on the show, Candy Muse. Had Monet Exchange and went with this very like quilted leathery type of fabric, and tried to do a gown and everything. And there were certain aspects of the gown that, yes, were very Monet Exchange, like the slit, the high angles on the breast area.
I would give it to her, even the hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's something else we didn't really elaborate on. There was the construction. We talked about how they looked in these looks, but how much of an homage to those chests did they really do? Did they just take the fabric and create their own look?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it like, okay, this is definitely a hint of this or that? I think, and we talked about this with Jimbo or with the Trixie Mattel box, I think she should have had on her big country wig in this. And she could have made fun of the eyes or the clown makeup. She could have, she's a clown. She calls herself a clown. She knows how to, she could have easily made fun of it. I think if she would have taken off that headpiece, gave me a big hair, with or without the back I was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
with clown makeup and just being your campy self, that would have done it.
Right.
In my opinion. With Candy's look was extremely basic. I don't know, because I don't construct outfits, so I don't know what goes into sewing. So I don't want to judge and say, well, all she had to do was like sew it in the back to make sure it fit on her body, and it just wasn't elaborate. It didn't. I can't look at her outfit and say, oh, I can see why it took her so long to make that, or why she could have been stressed out. There was nothing special about it. At the end of the day, she didn't add anything to it. Was a black gown. She didn't add anything to it. Maybe the cut, okay, the slit, okay, but there's nothing about that that says, oh, she's on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars.
No.
8.
No.
And I believe in any other season, if this was her first season, we already see how that played out. If she was anybody else wearing that on that stage,
And we're talking about Candy Muse.
Yes, we're talking about Candy Muse.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a no.
Yeah.
It's a no for me.
Yeah, definitely.
The clever thing she did was she used the sponge to like wax the boobies on her outfit, but it's a no for me.
Yeah, nope. And thusly, she was in the bottom. So we now know that Jessica Wilde, Jimbo are safe. The bottom 2 queens are La Ree and Candy Muse, and the winner is Alexis Michelle.
Yeah, do you agree with that? Would you shift anything around in there?
No, I totally agree. I think that Alexis won based off of the challenge and the looks that were presented. Alexis won. She clearly won. Jessica and Jimbo were safe, and Lala and Candy had the bottom looks for me. So so now we know that that Alexis Michelle is the winner. So Alexis Michelle then goes on to face the Lip Sync Assassin, which is Nikki Doll from season 12 and the host of RuPaul's Drag Race France. All right. And they lip synced to "These Boots Are Made for Walking" by Nancy Sinatra, which is on the list of greatness as far as the playlist of greatness. It's one of my. I love that song. I do. And
I've heard it before. Wasn't really a fan, so when I heard it, it's like, okay, it rings a bell. It didn't get me excited for this lip sync though.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, I'm a fan of the song, so it was like I was hoping that, you know what I mean, and then especially, you know what I mean, like being a fan of the song and seeing all the old Nancy Sinatra performances, because Nancy would tear that thing down.
I gotta put this on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Rex says Nikki looked fine.
Nikki did look fine. It wasn't.
She looked okay. Barely.
Yeah.
I wanted to say she looked busted.
I definitely thought that Alexis Michelle dressed for the lip sync.
Yeah. Nikki Doll's look was more of a I'm on a red carpet. I'm not here to perform.
Red carpet of the MTV Video Music Awards. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I see that.
But even still, one of the stars on her outfit was all wrinkled and folded over and stuff. And it's like, yeah, your look didn't do it for me.
Mm.
Not only as a past a past performer who's supposed to be an assassin and then a host of another RuPaul Drag Race franchise, it was like, check please.
So she's only won one lip sync. On season 12, she was, in the bottom twice and then got eliminated after the second lip sync. And, she's like, after appearing on season 12, she pretty much became the biggest drag queen in France. So it was like, yeah. But, she didn't do it for me. And the thing about it is that Alexis Michelle's performance in this lip sync was okay, was serviceable. I thought it was a little extra because the thing with this song is that if you understand the song and you listen to the lyrics and stuff like that, it is pretty much very much like a women's empowerment song, and it's very much like I don't really need to do much. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those quintessential, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to do much to slay this lip sync type of song. Like what Latrice Royale did with Natural Woman. You know what I mean? She didn't do much, but she slayed that lip sync. Okay? With this song, you don't need to do much. You just need to embody the confidence that Nancy Sinatra has in this song. Like, I'm a bad bitch. And you out here playing. So I'm about to start the fucking walking and you can watch these boots. You know what I mean? And you got to have that attitude when you're performing that song. And they were more or less trying to impress rather than embody the song.
Right.
So that's where the lip sync kind of...
Their performances was underwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where it was underwhelming at, is because they didn't embody the song. Whereas if you look at La Ree's performance last week, you know what I mean, with the Lizzo song, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell, like, she was feeling that song.
Yes.
All right? She was like, it's about damn time. Like, in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it'd be like, yeah. And then we didn't get that until like the very, very end. And I would say that it was mainly from Alexis Michelle because she really got into that dance. And that dance at the end that they both did is iconic for this song. Like,
right.
It's just like, that's the dance that Nancy does. You know what I mean? And everything. And like,
Alexis Michelle lost herself in it,
mm-hmm.
in that moment. And it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You're a winner,
brought me into it, even though I was just sitting there watching it. And it drew me in. At the very end. Yeah.
Literally, I watched it the episode a couple of times. And the last couple of times I've watched it, I, for whatever reason, just magically tune out until that part. But, needless to say, Alexis Michelle wins. She wins $10,000. Mm-hmm. And the responsibility of...
For a grand total of $15,000?
This is her first and only win.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about time, because if she didn't win this episode, I think she would have gone home. Damn, the way these rankings work. But anyway, so she wins and she sends home La Ree.
So this is where everything starts, you know what I mean? Because
It's a little muddy.
last week we all and even at the beginning of this episode, we all saw, you know, how ingratiated, you know, Alexis Michelle ingratiated herself to La Ree for saving her. Basically saying, I got you, you know, oh, I'll never forget this, you know, and then she turns around and eliminates La Ree. So a lot of the viewers, and if you are following in the RuPaul Drag Race fan groups and stuff like that, they're out for blood. Like when it comes to Alexis Michelle, they are very much like, oh, Alexis Michelle is a piece of crap. Like she can't keep her word. She can't be trusted. Why is she still here? She should have got eliminated. Like
all that.
Yeah, it is
all of that.
It is a lot of venom right now out in the Drag Race community for Alexis Michelle.
And not me.
And he has venom.
And then the thunder
for
goes
Alexis
off.
Michelle.
But then the thunder happens right after I say that.
Mm-hmm.
But no. My problem with Alexis is this isn't your first offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Are you talking? I'm going to lunch.
Have fun. Alexis Michelle, we saw her early on in the season when it came down to the breakdown of Kandi, Jimbo, and Heidi's alliance. When Heidi went to Jimbo to say, hey, Kandi said she would take you out, blah, 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 blah. And Alexis was witness to this. So when everybody was pulling all the cards on Heidi was like, well, Kandi said, because actually Kandi brought it up. Kandi was like, oh, so you said da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I did. Oh, I didn't say that, but what I said was, she cleared it up.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you know what? Alexis was right. Alexis, didn't you hear this? Yes. Kandi said, you heard me say that? Oh, no, I don't think I heard that. Not more than 5 seconds later, she doubled back on her word. I don't know if you guys have watched Roscoe's, but Heidi was on there and she had said that there was a lot of things going on that led to her leaving the show. This was just the tip of the iceberg. This was the straw in the camel's back. Because there was a lot of other stuff, but when you have all these things going on, it was bad enough that she was going through it with Kahana, and then she had this issue with Kandi and Jimbo. But the one person who could validate me and vindicate me switched like a light switch, literally like that. So that was your first defense. I was looking at you funny then, Alexis, but this time around, La Ree did what she thought was the best thing to do, which kind of goes along with what you were saying with Trinity. Sometimes the queens decide to vote along with the consensus of whoever the top queens are.
Right.
That's understandable. Because I think that's one of the reasons why Lala sent Kahana home.
Now, to put this in context, Trinity the Tuck recently put out a Instagram post where she basically, kind of floats out a plausible explanation as to that could explain Alexis's motives as far as voting the way that she did. Trinity stated that during her season, she would vote with how the top all-stars, with how the other girls would vote. The Save Queen, she would vote however the Save Queens voted, and they would have conversations and, say, hey, I'm going to vote like this. So that way, once the lipstick is revealed, if the winner loses against the lipstick assassin and the group's choice goes home, you're matching the group, and so you don't make an enemy out of somebody that is there. Now, Trinity also says that she would not have sent Lala home, had she been in Alexis's situation. Mm-hmm. But we don't know what behind the scenes conversations could have happened. That particular conversation could have happened, and thusly explains why, she voted La Ree, because the rest of the group all voted La Ree out. Kandi, of course, voted La Ree out. Jessica Wilde voted La Ree out, and Jimbo voted La Ree out. Okay? So if Alexis Michelle did choose, to stick to her word, like we all wanted her to do. Don't get me wrong, I wanted her to do it too. And chose Candy Muse, but she lost that lip sync to Nikki Doll. And Nikki Doll pulls out La La Ree, and La La Ree goes home. And then when they get back to the workroom, it's like, oh, who did you? You know what I mean?
Now, of course,
She
Candy
pulls
would
it
be
out.
upset.
Yeah,
Of course, Candy would be upset. But could you look at her and say, well, I can't blame her because Lala just freaking saved her the week before. I understand.
You can, but do you really want to take that chance when it comes to $200,000? And that's the thing. Do you want to take that chance?
All right, so Alexis isn't going to win this. We already know this.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
She already knows this.
I don't think you. When you're in there competing,
She was the
you
last
feel like you
person
have a
to
chance.
win.
But when you're competing, you feel like you have a chance. Look at Monet Exchange. Last All-Star season. And look at Shea Coulee.
No, that's different. Those are the all queens, all winners. These are people who are proven track records of winning.
Right.
You can't put them in the same comparison.
Right, but what I'm saying is based off of the game, right? The game that they were playing, Shea Coulee managed to use the game, right, to make it into that Final Four.
But these aren't the same rules. Nobody was getting eliminated then either.
I get it, but those are the rules of the games that Alexis is playing, and she's playing the game. Just like Shea Coulee played the game. A lot of people were like, well, why did they give away 3 stars just to get Shea into the final draw? And it was like the Vivian was, you know what I mean? Like people was like, oh, the Vivian should have been in there. You know? It was like, you know, and you can't fault Shea for actually showing up when there was an opportunity for 3 stars. You can't fault Alexis Michelle for showing up when her ass was on the line because she would have been eliminated had she not been in the bottom. Now, again, you can't fault her for making a decision that was best for her game, while she's competing in the game. Because I think that that's what the decision that she made in my mind. We'll find out next week, you know, a little bit more when she's at Roscoe's. But I genuinely think that there was a method to this, and I'm hoping that, you know what I mean, and she's already tweeted out that she regrets it and stuff like that, and she would make a different decision now, which leads me to believe that she's getting the boot next week, and it's Candy Muse that probably gave her the boot.
Probably. And I don't want Candy to be in the top 3. Candy does not deserve to be in the top 3, in my opinion. But because of this, and here's my gripe with Alexis. Let's just make it clear. She said it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
How she would look out for La La Ree. I got you. I will never forget this. All of that good stuff. And no quicker than she says it, she sends Lala home. Now, we've said Lala has been on our bottom list the entire season, except for when she won and maybe one other episode. So it's not like we're saying, oh, we're rooting for Lala because Lala was just going to win. No. But for me, it's the principle. You put your word out there. It's one thing to say, I will take this into consideration, which you did. Because then there's no promises. There's nothing about, no one can say, oh, you went back on your word, because all you said you was going to consider it. What you did was double down, triple down on the idea that if Lala was in the same situation, now, it is ambiguous, as Stoney pointed out, like, she could have been meaning that, hey, if you're ever in New York, I'll make sure that I'll book you with me at my bar or whatever. Okay, but that's where this gets really muddy because we don't know that. And you have a track record of going back on your word. So this is your second offense now. I don't trust you at all because you go back on your word so often. I'm good. I'm sorry. Not sorry. That was my gripe with Alexis Michelle, who deserved to win this episode, but she's a shitty individual for doing it. And I'm that fan right now. Yes, I am. Anyway.
I am, like I said, I give people the benefit of the doubt because of the game that they're playing.
You could,
you know.
But you also realize that she's showing you her cards.
Mm-hmm.
technically. There's no benefit of the doubt when a person is telling you exactly who they are. I'm going to use you to get my foot up, but the moment I get my foot up, I'm going to push you down. I'm going to say what I need to say to be in the good graces of whoever. And in this situation, that's what you kind of have to do. We were talking about being on Big Brother. You have to play the game. Great job, Alexis. Hope that stings as much as I meant it to.
We would love to have you on the show if you're watching. By the
I
way.
would absolutely. I would still love to have you on the show, but what I said stands, and I don't trust that you would actually show up. Give me Heidi. Hell, give me Kahana. I'll take La La Ree. I'm good, Alexis. Next.
Oh boy.
Who else has ever gotten underneath my skin like this? Irene, Diabetes. Lucy was scratching at it.
Oh yeah,
Lucy was definitely scratching at me.
Diabetes was probably the biggest, like your biggest Drag Race villain of all time.
Like why?
Even though for me it's Fifi O'Hara. Fifi O'Hara is the biggest villain in Drag Race history, like the biggest villain.
I mean, so Fifi O'Hara is the biggest, but like my personal disdain goes towards Diabetes before anybody else. I'm sorry, it does. And followed up very closely by Alexis. And the funny thing about Alexis isn't on this list for the same reasons Diabetes is on this list, or even Fifi O'Hara would have been on this list.
Yeah, it goes Fifi O'Hara, Roxy Andrews, Diabetes. Top 3 villains. Mimi, I'm first.
Oh God, do we gotta consider her? Do we even have to consider? She was that one that I don't know how got on the show and then on the show again, and it was still like, bye, go home.
That's probably why this reaction. The producers are like, we need a reaction. Like
this is not the reaction though. Like
they're learning from the Vince McMahon school of television. Any reaction is a good reaction because it's a reaction at the end of the day.
I guess, but like there's so many great performers throughout the years. You understand? This is like 15 seasons of regular drag racing, 8 seasons of All Stars.
And we have
the amount of girls.
Plans that we're going to talk about because we're going to be talking about queens that we want to see on Drag Race.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like queens that we want to see on All Stars, past queens.
So what we're going to do is we're going to binge the seasons because we want to actually not just the really big popular names, because there's a lot of girls whose names you forgot because they were eliminated 1st through 3rd, and you kind of like, oh yeah, she was in that, wasn't she? No, we're going to pull them all up from the grave. Well, some of them actually are passed.
Some of them we're going to leave buried.
Some of them are actually passed away. But we're going to find some people who we think will give a good show. Now,
yeah, we're going to give you all types of lists. So let us know in the comments what kind of list you want to see. Do you want to see who we don't want to see on Drag Race All Stars? Who you want to see on Drag Race All Stars? Let us know the queens. Put some suggestions down in the comments because we'll be taking a look at that while we're doing our research and our work to bring you guys that particular content. So we got some off-season plans for you guys because as we transition to the end of this All-Star season, we're going to have a lot of time on our hands before regular drag race starts up again.
You know what else? I'll be interested to know. Do any of you guys watch any shows with like an LGBTQPI, all of the acronyms, an element attached to it? Like, are there any shows like there may be a storyline of a lesbian or a gay person or a bisexual person or a reality show where they have someone on? If there's something,
we do have P Valley coming back. I think next year. Next year, P Valley's coming back, and
what show I wish they bring back?
We talked about P Valley on here.
There are 2 shows I wish to God they would bring back: Pose and Legendary.
I think I remember seeing something that Noah's Ark is
supposed to be coming back.
It's supposed to be getting a revival.
Yeah,
which is pretty awesome, especially if they can get most, if not all, of the original cast.
I think they can get the most of the original
Mhm.
cast.
I don't know so much about Jensen Ackles.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You think he would?
yeah, I think he's on board. I think like some side characters may not, but I think the original four, along with
Mhm.
Jensen Ackles, I think they're at least coming back.
That would be good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely, and we'll
I
definitely
don't
talk
know,
about that when that
because
comes.
I'm like I can reach out to like three, like the creator or two of about two of the actors from the main cast and see if we can get them on. Now that would be cool.
That would be cool to talk about that. Yeah, we could work on that behind the scenes and everything. Let us know in the comments if you want to see that.
Fun.
Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff that helps us. You know what I mean? Continue to make such great content for you guys. Yeah, and let us know who your top four are in the comments. We're about to reveal our top four because we are now going
in
into
order, in our order.
Yeah, top four. So, fourth place,
Alexis Michelle.
Even though she just won, she is in dead last. Yes, dead last.
Oh, I'm gonna have to agree with what Ronnie Jones says here. I'm happy, but I wish they brought it back 5-10 years ago. I was just thinking to myself, like having Patrick on the show.
He's talking about Noah's Ark or Noah's Ark Revival.
Yeah, I would ask Patrick, the creator of the show, like what would be different? I mean, a lot is different, but like for you, what does it mean to come back 10, 15 years later? These characters have already grown and developed and all that good stuff. So, like, how would you approach these characters after the pandemic? Because they did the COVID special.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would really love to know, how they changed things, or like, where are these characters now? What are you even taking the same approach, especially after you stepping away from Logo and you're on Being Mary Jane and all these other great shows and movies that you've placed in culture? Like, what would you do different?
So just to give folks okay, he looks like he caught up. Yeah. So but yeah, we're talking about Noah's Ark and everything, and what I think it is that there was a peak and then a lull, there was a peak and then a dramatic lull, and then now it's been steadily on the rise over the course of the 15 years when it comes to an appetite for LGBT people of color programming. Because back when Noah's Ark first came out, and especially when Logo was launching, because Logo initially launched for pretty much all gay people. I can genuinely say that when it first launched, there was a lot more, white gay programming, but they made it a point to cultivate Noah's Ark, until Viacom really started to get involved, because once they saw, it actually is generating money, so now we got to mainstream it and we gotta whitewash it, you know what I mean? And then that led to the cancellation of Noah's Ark, right when it was getting very riveting.
It's interesting. I wouldn't say that they whitewashed it. We can talk about. So I wouldn't say that they whitewashed it.
Whitewashed Logo.
Oh, you mean Logo?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Noah's Ark.
No, whitewashed Logo, which led to the cancellation of Noah's Ark, and then there was and then that coincided with the backlash within the like in the early, that was like the early 2010, from 2005 to 2010, somewhere around there.
Mama's Boy came out in 2013. We released our last episode, so we did like 2011 through 2012 because we stopped.
Yeah, Noah's Ark was like a little bit before that.
Yeah, Noah's Ark came out right before it.
So there was an appetite like then, and then there was a significant backlash because by that time, that was when a lot of the gay marriage things started to get a big push, and then there was a significant backlash, especially within the Black community. All right, against against all that type of stuff, and then slowly but surely after that, stark drop, slowly but surely over time, the appetite has grown. You know what I mean? Especially with, the legalization of marriage and the big old pride pushes and stuff like that. And I think more and more Black folks recognizing that gay rights are also civil
2010.
rights. You know what I mean?
That was in June 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, at this point, that marks 13 years that gay marriage has been legalized.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was at a club in New York, and everybody was celebrating, and that's when I first met Rodney Chester from Noah's Ark. So it's a really cool thing to call back.
Yeah, and like it's a slow progress is slow. You know what I mean, among people. So it took a while to get back to a point where there is a healthy appetite, you know, and a healthy demand for, you know, people of color and LGBT centric material. Look at Moonlight winning Best Picture. You know what I mean? A story about, you know, uh, questioning, you know, black boy, you know what I mean, going through, you know, things and dealing with things, like one Best Picture. Like, who'd have thought?
It's a great
movie. So we are like, you know, we've developed a more sophisticated understanding of the nuances, especially within the black community, of how, you know, gay rights and gay people existed and gay people mattered and gay people contributed within the black community, to where now it's like more and more, you know, straight black folks understand. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's still we still got a long ways to go within the community for, you know, a decent level of acceptance, you know, of, you know, people being LGBT and being a member of that community, but it's gotten better. You know what I mean? Slowly,
far away from where we were.
Yes.
So far from where we were.
We still have a lot of work to do by reaching back, especially, you know, lesbian and bisexual and gay black men. We still have a lot of work to do, and we got to reach back and pull our trans brothers and our trans sisters right along with us. You know what I mean? Because they have just the same rights to exist as we do, and we got to protect them just as much as we protect ourselves. You know, but it's work, and it's going to take time, and that's the sad thing.
It's going to have to take some focused work, because you know, we do have politicians that are trying to overturn, or trying to block and ban, or trying to erase the progress that we've made. Right. So it's important that we do have these conversations, and that we kind of rally together. I had this idea I told you about. It, I don't even know if I want to say it on here. Until we got more meat to these bones. But it's basically like an organized economy. But that's a different situation for a different conversation, for a different time. Yeah. Before Drag Race, now this week we don't get Fame Game. Yeah. And that threw us off, because at the end of this Untucked, RuPaul announces voting for Fame Games starts on the 14th, she said?
Yep, July 14th.
July 14th is 3 weeks away. We got 3 queens left. So I'm trying to gather. You're going to break. We got 4 queens. You have to send somebody else home, apparently. So that's 1 week off. And then we know there's going to be a reunion show. But then we still have the Fame Game. Voting starts that 3rd week. So what are we doing? Because like usually it's like a reunion. Like if there was a reunion show, I would think like either there or on the finale you'll crown Fame Game queen. So I'm really confused. What do you think is going to happen?
I think it is going to be an elimination, a reunion show, and then the finale. You know, or elimination. Or it's probably a save. We might have a save.
That would
then an elimination.
Who would you save and why?
And then we might have the reunion show, because the reunion show, when they open up the voting for the Fame Game, and then they crown both. You know, the finale week, the next week. So you heard it here first. Might have a save coming up, folks.
I was off this season with predictions and everything. I could not have predicted half the mess that we've seen on this season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 8. This has turned out to be, dare I say, a roller coaster of a show for me. Right. Now, as much as I was unexcited and underwhelmed to see this group of queens, they have thoroughly entertained me.
Mm-hmm.
They are, regardless of how I feel, anyone else feels about them, they are all stars now, officially. Some definitely don't deserve to be, but they are. Some I'm glad to see their improvement. Knew what they came to do, and they did it, even though they got sent home, which means I don't think that those people are around, obviously, which there weren't many. What do you think about this season? Ugh, I really don't know how I feel about this group of girls. Like this is
This was definitely a weaker All-Star season. I think because they casted a lot of the high quality All-Stars early on in the in All-Stars.
Right. And back then it made sense to do it, but now it's kind of like you shot yourself in the foot because now you pick
right. And so, we'll see. Like I said, we will see. I can't wait to do our who we want to see on All Stars list because I think we are going to come up with a banging cast. Like,
we got to hurry up before
we are going to do that. Yeah. And get that out there because heck, if World of Wonder, y'all, we gonna get this out. And if next All Stars cast list looks like anything like how we talking about, we it's already on YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna come. So y'all might as well bring us on the team now. All right, to avoid even more costly, interaction. So, yeah, yeah, that's how I feel.
Yep, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I look forward to. I just think it's gonna be so much fun us putting these lists together.
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about some queens right now.
I'm not, but I look forward
to I want to see on All Stars like next season.
I can only think of like 2 or 3 people off the top of my head, and this is just from the last season. Four people from last season I would want to come back. A possible 5th. Makes sense to you now? Clearly, I need Anitra, Isabel, and Lux. Lux is iffy, but then I actually want to see what Irene Duval has to offer.
Yeah,
and then Lucy maybe.
Maybe I am definitely Team Lady Camden.
Yes,
like
give me Lady Camden.
Give me definitely. Lady Camden. Give me Rose. Like give me Got Mick. Like
that's. Don't do this right now because
like
my juice is flowing.
I told you we're gonna come up with some bangers. So yeah. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Put y'all suggestions down in the comments. You know what I mean? We will keep y'all posted where we're gonna be releasing that during the off season. All right. In addition to a bunch of other, type of off season content. We're gonna be talking about a lot of other shows coming up and everything. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna take your suggestions and everything, but we need you guys to do something. In addition to liking, sharing, and subscribing, we are gonna need y'all to go to the website. That website right here. This website right here. Okay.
Because if you go there, you'll get this. A Life of Lust, Memoirs of the Porn Star. Written by me.
Yes.
So my memoir, my self-help book, my journal, a couple of scrap book, a little bit of a scrapbook with some pictures. I should do like an extension. I really should do an extension of that book or another edition because so much has changed, so much has happened in like the past 3 years. It's been 2 years since I released the book.
Now? Yeah. No, you gotta wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A little bit longer. Give it some more time.
I'm holding on. But no, one way or another, please go to the website and purchase your copy of A Life of Lust, Memoirs of the Porn Star if you have not done it already. It means so much. I am super grateful for everyone who has today purchased the book. Not only purchased it and read it, but gave me some amazing feedback and encouragement. So thank you to all of you out there who've supported so far. Yeah. Stoney, is there anything else you want to tell these wonderful, lovely people?
Thank y'all for coming. God bless it. Good night.
Good night.